Yes, I'm looking at the future of the German destiny using the ability, prophetic and military foresight. And I'm going to show you the end of the German destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a German state, which is a republic, and there is an honor division in the German destiny. You have all kinds of classes, and there's something called the political class, and then you have the people who are born for battle, then you have the educationals, then you have the entertainment industry, you have all kinds of industries. You have the merchants, you have the medical professionals. There are all kinds of layers in society in Germany. And everyone needs to do what he or she ought to do for the system to work. So in Germany we have this system functioning that is very strict. Everyone should behave according to the system. So your position in this system is a direct reflection of your family honor. So to understand the governmental shutdown, you need to understand your family honor. So some people have a lot more family honor than others. And how do you acquire family honor? You know, the German destiny wants to go somewhere, and the German destiny has access to a hierarchy, and everyone plays a role in this hierarchy. And then if you use your talents, abilities, resources, whatever, that befit the destiny of Germany, you will acquire honor. Yes, so you can use your influence, your resources, and your talents to befit yourself and your own agenda. Yes, that's what most people do. And you have those that use the exact same for the greater good of German society, whether it be on a city, national, or federal level. The more you do that, the more effective you do that, the more you have the power to influence the German destiny for the better, the higher you will raise in this invisible social credit score. Yeah, this generational energy is what it's called. So, some people have good parents who've done things for the German destiny where their children just magically get nice positions in the German destiny. And that is totally fair. Alright? So, some people in the German destiny, the ancestors were, NSDAP, I think that's what it's called. The Nazi, National Socialistic, they were Nazis. These days, people say to each other, hey, you're a Nazi, like it's some kind of an insult, When you're a little bit too domineering, they come at you and go like, hey, you Nazi, No. You have to understand something. Being a Nazi is not something you do. Being a Nazi is something you are. When your grandpa was a member, you know what I'm saying? When your grandpa was a member of the Gestapo, your German blood has been tainted with Nazi energy. Yeah, that's a real Nazi. And then that energy in your blood will rise to your brain, and you will say that Nazism is not really a bad thing. You will have lack of honor. I will go really presidential on you all. Honor, right? So when you have in your generational line lack of honor because of what your grandfather has done during World War II or whatever, yeah, the lack of honor will manifest in you, and you will start walking around going like this. The Holocaust never happened. And when you start denying the Holocaust in the German destiny, they will imprison you because they see that you are a bloodline who has no honor. You're not connected with reality. So you're exposing your own barbarism by, exposing that something is wrong with your mind, whereby you do not see that Nazism is a wrong thing. So many of these bloodlines are in the AfD. That's a serious situation. And the AfD refuses to purify these bloodlines out of their ranks, And then we have crisis in Germany, and Germans are getting angry. Oh yeah, they're getting full of anger. And because the government is messing up. The government is not doing a good job, ladies and gentlemen. So all these angry people go like, how can we express our anger without becoming a criminal? And then there's this witch called Alice Weidel, and she is like, angry, let's stop this, let's stop that, let's cancel this, let's destroy that, right? This really angry person. So all the angry people of Germany are resonating with anger. And then all of a sudden, 1 in 5 Germans thinks that anger will solve the problems of the German Republic. Yes, that on itself is quite apocalyptic. So when I enter German society and I start talking like, how I talk here, people are like, I'm so concerned. People are concerned. This affair is concerning the German people. From low to high, from smart to dumb. It doesn't matter. The people in Germany sense that something is off. The rise of AfD, it warms people up to the fact that something is radically wrong in the German destiny. And I'm just the voice of intelligence, the voice of reason, the voice of decency, and the voice of diplomacy in this affair. Let's call it the connector of trust. It's a lot of confusion in the German destiny, and I'm going to kill all that confusion by speaking the truth. Alright, but the AfD is not the only problem that Germany is facing. These compromised bloodlines who have in the generational line this Nazi energy, whereby that energy will manifest in them, and they will not really condemn the Nazi history, or they will condemn it but not completely, or they will say Adolf Hitler also built roads. They will have some kind of a out of tune, completely out of tune. So there are people in Germany who are completely out of tune with this Nazi history thing, and the fact that they're out of tune is just a sign that their grandpa was an SS commander or something like that. It's really, that's how honor works. So when you have these type of issues in your bloodline, you have a generational curse. And then when you are like that, walking around in the German destiny, then you are likely to vote the AfD, and then you will naturally end up with the assholes. I'm not trying to show you the cheat codes of the German destiny. I'm just speaking my mind and the truth. But it is a little bit, this is how it works. If your energy levels are like legendary high, this stuff is like child's play. The whole German destiny is completely overseeable. So this is a game of honor, and there is a purpose to the German destiny. And if you have curses in your honor, then you will be led into something that you will put shame upon yourself. You will be given over to anger, and in your anger you will start talking some real crazy shit. And then 1 cycle later, you're the one that voted for the AfD, and you're going to stand there and go like, oh, I didn't know, I was misled. Now it doesn't look like that yet, but the moment will come that the truth will show up. This is the design of life. So when you have far ancestors who have done great things for the German destiny, you have power in the German destiny, but when those far ancestors had a Nazi era, then that great generational blessing has been deformed with Nazi energy, whereby you cannot manifest a life in honor. You cannot manifest your particle right in the German destiny and fulfill your destiny in the bigger German destiny. You cannot get it done. So this is called the game of honor in the German destiny, and the better you play it, the more eminence you will have in the process, which is called the German destiny. It's always going somewhere. Right? So on the biggest level, there are two factions in the German destiny, and I would consider these factions the woke and those who are against woke. So that's like I'm using a big giant sword of justice, and I cut the pie into two pieces that are easily understandable. You know, when Friedrich Merz enters the Bundestag and has his first cabinet meeting, first parliamental, meeting, that's when the political cycle starts of the opposition rising. So there is an establishment, which is the woke, and these are the bloodlines who have the honor to rule Germany on all levels. The divine right to rule. So when you have the divine right to rule, and and you start becoming crazy, and you start becoming arrogant, and you start becoming corrupted, who's going to stop you? Because you are the ruling elite. It's kind of how that works, right? So who's going to defeat the elite? Only an elite can challenge an elite. So if you are the German elite, there is nothing else here in Germany. This is like child's play, ladies and gentlemen. So I just hope you can follow this stuff, because I'm talking about the end of the timeline of the German destiny and the governmental collapse. Alright, so the elite cannot be stopped. The elite is there to stop you if you're not the elite. This is by design. So when the elite corrupts itself, what you going to do? Alright? So when the elite corrupts itself, then God can allow an oppositional force to rise. That's the destiny of Merz and his cabinet. So they run on a different type of energy. In Germany, you have two forms of energy. You got woke energy, the destiny of woke, and you got the destiny of against woke. Or let's call it the overwriters of woke. So Merz is in a German destiny, and the German destiny is like a chess game who has two sides. Woke and the overwriters of the woke. So when woke runs out of energy, when woke runs out of generational blessings, when the time of woke ends, the opposition will rise and to power, because the opposition has a different form of generational blessing. So when you're wicked, you will burn your inheritance. When God gives you blessings and you abuse your blessings, God will revoke them and punish you and will give your blessings to someone else. Right? So the woke of Germany are knocked out when Merz enters the government and starts the Bundestag. And then all of a sudden, they still have generational blessings in their souls. So they can keep Germany going for a while. Yeah, they will keep Germany going for a while. However, there's a little disclaimer. Do you really believe that Merz and his friends, and whoever joins Merz and his friends, and whoever has energy in their souls, I see them daily. I can separate them. I know who is woke and who is against woke. So I know who is who. But the government doesn't know who is who, because the government is designed to do what government does. The government is not designed to do what I do. Everyone has their own destiny. Right? So there are no specialists in the government to see who's woke and who's not. Like some kind of a spiritual special forces like X-Men or whatever. Alright? That doesn't exist in Germany. Honor like that doesn't exist here. So there is a limited amount of generational energy in the German destiny in the oppositional powers. So the establishment, their energy will run out when Merz enters the government, but the underground will come to the establishment's position when that happens, and they have an amount of time, they have an amount of energy, they have the ability to keep the German destiny going, but they're not perfect. They're not enlightened. They're not excellent. They're not, right? They're not noble. They're entitled, and they're not as bad, quote unquote bad. They're not as limitless in barbarism. There is a form of civilization in Merz and the opposition that will rise. Yes. However, that form of civilization is not high enough to get the acceptation of God. Listen to me. Do you hear my statements? These are not. That's not reason. I'll repeat what I just said using reason. The civilization standard in Merz and every other oppositional force in Germany is not high enough to create new blessings. It might be high enough to keep everything together. It might be high enough to make the woke look like barbarians. If you use the woke as standard of measuring, yeah, it's easy to be more civilized as a prostitute. It's easy to be more civilized as a godless person. It is easy to be more civilized as somebody who has mental issues. Right? So when you use the deformed, the crooks, that's what you call it in American language. When you use the crooks as measurement units, yeah, you will pat yourself on the shoulders and say, I'm not a fucking crook. So indeed, Merz and his friends are not quote-unquote fucking crooks. The oppositional forces in Germany in the underground that will rise when Merz enters government are not a quote-unquote fucking crooks, no. But that doesn't mean they are enlightened or that they have any skills in knowing how to provoke God to give you blessings or to make Germany greater or to improve whatever, you know. No, it's just getting by energy. Germany's underground, when I watch it, it's just, you know how to get by, you know. You know how to move so that God doesn't kill you. You know what I mean? The German underground, you kind of know what I'm talking about. You wake up and you know a little bit the rules. You know what not to do. You know, don't touch that prostitute energy. Don't touch those false gods energy. Don't touch that stupid atheism. You know, don't touch this abortion shit. Don't touch all these big sin shit. Don't subscribe to OnlyFans. You all know, don't touch it. You know exactly what not to touch. So you don't touch it, and you pat yourself on the back and say you're a good person because you're not touching it. So where's my reward? Where's my reward? Where is it? I don't smoke, I don't drink, I pay my taxes. Where's my reward? There is no fucking reward. Just the fact that you don't commit evil doesn't mean you're committing good. That's just this essential level of civilization is not in these people. That they actually also have to do something to get something. No, these people think that God will make it rain for them just because it's them. It's like a type of privilege that Westerners tend to have, yes. It is what it is. So it's not a reason, they're not reasonable. Action, reaction. Do not commit good actions, no good reactions. So most Germans in the underground believe just because you don't commit that much evil actions, like the wicked, now that don't mean anything. That just means that God's not going to fucking crush you like how he will crush the wicked. That's all you accomplished. There is more. Right? And of course, the underground of the German Republic on a federal level, or on a national level, or here on the city level, you really think that these people are going to sit here? How long am I speaking? 18 and a half minutes as Equalizer of Germany. You know, the presidential timeline. Talking all kinds of things that are not compatible with German culture. You think these people are going to do that to themselves? Of course not. Why not? They want to get rich. They want to get famous. They want to get instant gratification. They want to have a soothsayer. They want someone who tells them you're the greatest person in the world. They want to have social acknowledgement. They want social displaying. They want to be approved in front of they have all kinds of needs. They want to be heard. You know, they need attention. No, they don't have attention for any message that goes other than you are loved the way how you are. They're in the emotional deficit. They need emotional caretaking. They can't use emotional criticism because their lives is going to go so hard, you know. The life of the Germans is so hard. Maybe we should take a plane to fucking Africa and watch how hard lives look like. So it is a certain mentality issue, the entitlement. So Merz and his government will be entitled, and these underground figures, you know, who still have energy in their soul, they will be entitled. And you know, nobody in Germany's underground is like, what would be the will of God? How do I resonate with the will of God? You know, what would be the right way to spend my life? Get real. Get real. I'm trying to show you something. Why the government shutdown is going to happen, okay? I'm just giving you the intelligence. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to believe what I tell you. I'm not trying to convince you. I just need to deliver this product. You don't have to pay me for this. The German government paid me for this. This is the way it is. I just need to inform you. And I'm going to inform you properly. So let me show you something. I'm a man. And most people who listen to this will be men. Because men still believe in religion. And women don't tend to not like religion. Because religion says get married. Religion says one man. No. Right? So it is patriarchy, what you're hearing here. So most women hate patriarchy. And why do they hate patriarchy? It's because, subjecting to a man. Right? So I'm opening Pandora's box. Just to show you this is Pandora's box. There is no more communication, okay? There is no way of communicating between man and woman. Even I will not succeed at that, but I'm going to give it an attempt. So when I hear women dettering about men, it's the same shit as when I hear men dettering about women. Men complaining about thousands of things women are doing, and women are complaining about thousands of things men are doing. Nor women, neither men, look in the mirror and go like, God is punishing me with my karma. No fucking self-reflection. So the woman says it's the fault of the man says it's the fault of the woman. No self-reflection whatsoever. So the woman walks around in Germany, and because she is privileged, her forefathers, this honor, the German honor inside of a German woman, she doesn't have to bow to a man. She doesn't have to follow the rules because of privilege. So she can make mistakes. Doesn't matter. God will bless her anyway because she has an account called generational blessings. So she go from man to man to man. Maybe not like those woke women who subscribe to whatever and go with one night stands and shit. Maybe not like that extreme. Maybe not the prostitution type of energy. However, she go maybe 7 men, 8 men, 9 men, and then she wants to be honored like she's a lady. Back in the days, Jesus Christ would walk on the earth, and there would be a woman who has been married 5 times, and Jesus Christ would say, "You harlot, how dare you come before me?" Like that. And then the harlot was like, no, excuse me. I see you're a prophet, and addressing Jesus Christ with respect, and then God had mercy upon the harlot, and then the harlot repent of the sins. 5 marriages, and the 6th one had no ring, something like that. Well, here in Germany, it is 8 boyfriends before reaching adult age, and that woman wants to be honored. That woman wants to be respected. That woman wants to have a prince. The perfect man should come for that woman. So, and when a man is critical upon a woman like that, the woman, I don't want to go into preaching thing. I just try to show you a mechanics of a problem in society. So men have needs as well. Men are very competitive. Men will go all the way to get the bank account to buy that car or that house so that they feel more than the other man. Men are very competitive. Yeah, sure, you have men that don't care about that competition. Like, I don't care about the competition because I already won that competition and I quit that competition. But most men, they still need to prove something. So you got these young men, and these young men want to prove themselves. So what are they going to do? They're going to enter the arena and show that they can also do it. And then they want to have a fancy car, a fancy house, a fancy title, and they want to have a harlot. No, they don't. They don't. They want to have exclusivity. So this message will never arrive in the mind of a woman because that would disqualify these women. So that will hurt their feelings. And then, the woman needs to create a shield. All men are misogynistic. All men are shit. And then all of a sudden the woman becomes aggressive to that judgmental man. However, that same woman is very judgmental. I don't want to have a dusty man. The man needs to be 6 figures, 6 this, 6 that, The woman is just as harsh in her judgment as the man is harsh in his judgment. So the woman wants the man to become less harsh, and the man wants the woman to become less harsh, but it's not happening. The woman is becoming harsher, and the man is becoming harsher. So this is called gender politics, and it is disordering society. It's disordering families. It's disordering children. Children cannot have parents anymore because parents are fighting about power. Yes, this is all about power. The woman wants the power of a man, and the man wants a woman. And there's no more line of communication. So I can say, in name of God, this is proper judgment, but you will be like, misogynistic. There's the patriarchy again. Oh my God, the Church of Jesus Christ. No, we don't want this shit, right? And then you again go a cycle in sin. And then you go again and another man. And you figure out, oh, that's not working, those devil men. Shit. The man that I think is a good man is a devil man because you just want people to do what you want personally. You're not thinking about the greater good. You're not thinking about the continuation. You're not thinking about anything else than your own needs. So you are choosing partners based upon your own needs, and if a man resonates with those needs, then you think that man is a favorable man. But that's not a favorable man. That's not a strong man. That's not an elite man. That's nothing. That's just a man that kisses your ass for whatever reason. So when a woman walk up in front of me, I ain't touching it. I ain't looking at it because it's dirty shit. It's crap. Not touching it. So that's the most misogynistic you will ever heard in Germany. No German man dare to talk like that about German woman. I ain't fucking touching it. Because it jumped here, it jumped there, it went all over the fucking place. And I'm the fucking boss of the bosses here in Germany. I ain't touching that. That is beneath me. I have fucking honor. Right? So if you are a woman and you kind of resonate with my honor, you don't have to fucking walk up to me no matter how beautiful you are. Doesn't matter to me. Right? So what? Now all the German men are going to become monks? You know, men have needs and stuff. It's just so disharmonizing. This is disharmonizing. The German destiny is disharmonizing. And there is no communication. There's no possibility to command a woman how she needs to be. And a woman has no possibility to command a man how he needs to be. It's the end. The end of relationship life in Germany. The end of family structures in Germany. Everyone is quote-unquote unzufrieden and angry. Alright, so I'm trying to show you a bigger picture. So I hope you have seen the Disney film Mulan. There is a Disney film Mulan, very famous. If you haven't seen it, go watch it because it will help you envision the future of Germany. So every road is leading to the defect. Family defect, economy defect, relationship defect, politics defect. I'm showing you the defect. The end of the honor of the Germans. Defecting. Everything is defecting. Alright, I'm going to show you where it will end. So all of a sudden you see the Disney film Mulan. And in Mulan you see this girl. And this girl has a destiny to save the empire of China. However, Mulan wants to eat rice. Mulan wants to put on makeup. Oh, Mulan, the father of Mulan is like, you need to get married and stuff. You need to get married and stuff and go to school to learn how to be a housewife. And Mulan is like, nah, I ain't touching that. Housewife. No thanks. And Mulan is walking around eating rice, you know. And Mulan's just wandering around doing whatever she wants to do. Whatever, you know. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And then this little dragon show up for Mulan and goes like, hey, wake up, you have a destiny. And Mulan is like, fuck you with your fucking destiny. I'm going to do as I please. No man tell me nothing. You know, when a man discovers the true colors of a woman, yeah, and most men get disappointed. You know, it is really the fist of God. It's like literally imagine God putting on a diamond hand glove and fucking crush that woman. BAM! Subject. Right? But it's the same thing with men. Same thing. This diamond hand glove will enter God's hand and this Merz, BAM! In his face, broken. That's what's going to happen. You men and women of Germany, you are running on these generational blessings. And God give blessings and give blessings, and you keep manipulating and you keep disordering the family unit. Sometimes it's the men who do it, sometimes it's the woman who do it. Everyone is a victim, and everyone thinks he or she is without problems. And the German Republic's under threat. Vladimir Putin in Russia. Germany's under threat. And everyone is like, fuck off with your doomsday preaching. I want to eat rice. Where's my rice? And then your dad shows up. You're going to get married. And then you go like, fuck my dad. Misogynistic patriarchy. It is just dysfunction. And this dysfunction costs you your generational energy. So the woke are going to run out of generational energy when Merz enters government. And sooner or later, the underground of Germany that will rise to power in all of German society, you will also run out of your energy slower. A little bit slower than the woke. But your quote-unquote civilization level is not high enough to create new blessings. It is not high enough to cope with what Russia is intending to do to your society. It is not even high enough to create a fucking family unit that will be in harmony. It is not even high enough to fucking repair your economy. It is not even high enough to create a justice court. It's not even capable of creating a fucking justice state. Because the underground of Germany is favor-based. I like you because you like me. I like you because you're nice to me. It's not about when the person is good or bad or the integrity of the person. It's about the bank account or the skin color or the height. Favor-based justice system in Germany. Not a real legal system in Germany. In the heart of the people, right? What you vote for is feelings-based. It's not justice-based. The way how you raise your children is not justice-based. It's feelings-based, preference-based. I can go on and on and on how you all will burn your generational blessings. And at one point, Friedrich Merz, in that Bundestag, in that government, will have attained that point where he will have burned it. Yes. And then God will put on that diamond hand glove and fucking smash that man into the ground. Teach him respect. Respect. That type of respect you can see in the Disney film Mulan. Mulan had no fucking respect. And all of a sudden the barbarians showed up and teach these motherfucking weaklings respect. God, that's the civilization. When there's respect, when a man show up in his house, there's no fucking bullshit in his house. The German men don't know how to demand respect. They use violence or screaming or whatever. They don't have the intelligence to show a woman why he should be respected. Most men here in the West take a Bible and say, you should obey me because God wants it. Oh, really? Your character doesn't have the fucking honor to get a woman to bow before you. And that's what you got to develop into. The moment God cancels this government, the moment the government shutdown comes, everyone will be forced to develop the best version of the self. And the moment you have developed the best version of yourself, because God is judging you and no longer blessing you, and everything is coming to a standstill, and all your enemies are trying to destroy you, the best version of yourself will wake up, and a woman will respect that, yes. That is the future of Germany. That is the government shutdown prophecy. It will happen during Merz government. And that's not necessarily his fault. The people or the establishment are running out. And the opposition that is going to take over is simply also going to run out. And then comes the big disciplination.